Oh boy, I cannot be the only one that is glad that there's only one round of football left. This year has been dreadful and tough. And all things considered, I'm pretty sure this score could have been way worse than what it was. We had one of the lowest scores I've had in recent times, especially this far into a season. A round score of 2,057, top 38%, which means we went down in the rankings almost 2K. I've lost all my league matchups because of this score, but everything went bad for myself this week. And I'll go into each and individual player and why it went bad, but it's disappointing. I think that the top 1K is definitely out of reach. The top 2K, unless I get a massive score going on this week, we are looking at, a dreadful score once again, especially with potentially Sydney players going out. Don't know who's involved, but that's something to keep an eye on as well. That could derail a couple people's seasons, but let's go straight into it, and I'll kind of explain where we went wrong and what. I won one of two matchups. That's crazy that I won one of them, but here we go. We had that first. We've got Nas on the bench. We know that Nas is out, and we've got nothing we can do about it with those zero trades. So we just had to cop that. And we did have backup with Hugo and Anard on the bench as well. So we were fine in the defense. But there's some blokes that are really pissing me off in the defense that is on my never again list. But we'll start with the good. Lockie Whitfield, a 109, ultra consistent, great pickup. These two Giants boys have actually been pretty consistent. Ash, a little bit less consistent, but a 144 this week kind of saved my score in a couple ways when it comes to defense. So, 109 or 144 is brilliant work for the both of them. Mills, 69, didn't have a lot of impact in the game. I was watching the score, slowly was creeping. Slow. I thought you could cash in a bit at Marvel Stadium here. Actually, I think it was at the MCG. I'm not sure, but 69 is just not going to cut it when we're at the back end of the season. Worrell, 48. Had a matchup against Freo, and he was playing a lot of one-on-one work, so he didn't get a lot of that bowl down back where he kind of seagulls a bit and picks up those disposals sometimes like he does. So really suffered there, but a 48 is pretty deplorable. And then Dan Houston, you are a sorry man, Dan Houston. A 58, did nothing. He kicked one goal from 50, I think, for the night. But look at that price. He's 377,000. That's absolutely insane that we've got a player that much. That's supposed to be one of our final upgrades in the team this late. It's just really poor. He's on my never again list. Worrell's on my never again list. And then Hugo, 61. Is crazy that he scored better than both Worrell and Houston, which is... It is what it is. Wangan Imbalira, unfortunately, out. So we had to cop that in the defense. So we already started slow in the defense. We go to our midfield. I chickened out of my captain. I was going with Heaney. 169. He scored. Of course he did. But I moved to Dacos because he's been ultra consistent recently. You can guarantee a decent score. And a 110 is not an awful captain score. But when I've got so many people out this week, there's just... you need something massive to make up for it. Bailey Smith didn't pay off, and he has actually been pretty disappointed, all things considered, when it comes to matchup related. Geelong's run home has been, what do you call it, a Mickey Mouse run home, as some people would call it. But he's just not capitalised on that whatsoever. So super disappointing in that. But a 110 Nick Dacos, you're not going to get mad at a 110 from Dacos at all. But the captainable score is just not there. So... oh, well, we leave that, and we could have had the 169 from Heaney as a captain score, which potentially could have gotten us over the line in a few matchups, but didn't happen. Matty Rowell actually been a decent pickup out of all my really bad pickups for the year and my ending picks. Rowell's been pretty decent, a 118. Clip of him sniffing footballs came out, so I guess that did something for him because, and whatever he's doing, keep doing it, Matt Rowell. You've won a Brownlow doing it, so it is what it is. 118, I'll take that any day of the week for the price we bought him for. Bailey Smith, 98, I already went into him. Very disappointing. Not a vice captain score, and not even looking to go there this week on a Saturday at GMHBA against Richmond. I just don't have that confidence that he's going to give us a massive score. Potentially he could, like last week before this one was pretty big, a 150 something, but this week didn't work out. But Looking at matchups, Sydney was definitely going to be an option captain-wise. I'm not so sure about that anymore, depending on what happens during the week. So Bailey Smith could be potentially a captain option this week. Bont rested, did not play, which ruined me. We had no cover in the midfield. Franco is still out from that knee injury. He had a massive cut, and the bloke that is in his team called Herbert, I should definitely have brought in instead. What can you do? I've got no options there, no trades left, so it is what it is. Heaney 169, top scorer for the whole entire game. I was gonna put it there, but Goulden had taken a lot of points off of him recently. Warner would be scoring better. There was just everything was aligning to potentially he's not the option anymore. And of course, he comes out with a 169. It's all right though, because we brought him in for scores like that. He has given us that now recently after a few 90s, but the captain, I should have just gone with my gut, which I didn't, and it resulted in a lower score than what it could have been. LDU, ultimate roller coaster, this bloke, 64. Just let's have a look at this back end of the year. He's had some massive scores. Yeah, you go from a 156 and you're praising him to a 64, which is his second loss for the year. Yeah. So I don't know what to say about him. Real disappointing this week, but last week he gave us that 150 plus. So Mulligan, he can have it. Marrett 72 was tagged, got copped in the face. He's got a shiner just like Sheasel did, which we'll go into. So there was not a lot of things that went right this week, but a lot of attention put into Merritt. 72. I'm also going to give him a mulligan because he's ultra consistent, 100 every week, which that's the reason we brought him in. 72 is fine. And Clary made it to the 100, only just. Recent come to form has been, yeah, he's at a lower end scores up to 100, so he's climbing up slowly, but he's got a matchup against Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval, so I'm not expecting anything too crazy. So yeah, doesn't matter to anyway. Rux 139 gone. He, I think personally, was a little bit overscored. I don't know, just as a biased Port viewer, I thought that Sweet played really well against him. Few intercept possessions gone, but that's just, you're kicking down the line. Port service is poor all night. He's going to chop off a few there, but a 139 just seemed a little bit overs for him. But I'll definitely take that. It's a 139. He's in my team, and he's been best captain option, not best captain option, but one of the best captain options. Best ruck, definitely, for the whole year. And then Dogger, 111. You'll also take that, especially with your other captains not performing with your Grundys and your Jerry's types. Darcy Cameron's come good recently, but Jackson's been ultra. I think the ruck combo's been my number one point that I have not made to any trades for, any moves whatsoever for the whole entire year. So that's been a silver lining for the year, is that I haven't had to manage my rucks at all. Forwards, Sheasel went out half of the game. He was the top scorer for them, but went out at the halftime with a massive shine on the side of his eye from getting knocked by Mullen. Was getting attention put into him as well. So he was playing decent up until that point, which is, yeah, unfortunate for him. Don't know if he plays this week, if it comes down, or if that's going to be, it's going to be running against time to see if he makes it for this round. And I really hope he does, because we've got no backup. As you can see, these two idiots at the end of the forward line. We'll keep an eye on that as well. We might really be not fielding anyone this week, just judging by the movements and matchups and people being rested. Finals already, every team is already locked in. So it's going to be an interesting team list week. Brad Hill, 139, massive. He's making up for that NAS hole that is left in the Saints, but Saints have done nothing for the year. So Brad Hill you'll take, and yeah, move on. Horny, 90. Kind of looked like he wanted the ball up until halftime, where he kind of dropped off a bit. Still got some of the ball, but nothing imposing like his previous rounds have been. So 90 from the Hornet. 70, Cozzy Pickett didn't do a lot for the night. Was very fumbly. Yeah, just watching him, he didn't really need to do a lot because Melbourne was so on top of Port that it was crazy. So 70 is fine as well, but you're getting all these low end scores this week. It's just not helpful whatsoever. And then we got Petrarca, absolute dud. Never again list. The price that he is at right now is absolutely ridiculous. 34. at that quality of player, that's just, you can't give me a 34. That's just not on, bro. I don't know what Dimmer is doing with him, playing him around, what role he's filling. He's not providing anything to the team. He's playing forward in patches, and he's just not accurate in front of goal. So I don't know what the play is there. And I'm not going with him, even in early signs of next year, him coming back into midfield or anything like that. He's going to be a value pick for sure, because of his price right now. He's definitely going to be a value pick starting next year. And I know a lot of people are going to get sucked in initially. You could jump off really early. I'm already looking into next year because this season has been tough. But I'm just personally not going to go there, I don't think. My mind might change. Who knows? It really depends on, preseason and getting a visual look at the start of the season next year. And the McKenna, the 1 week we need him to really punch out at least a 60, make up some ground. He gives us a 30, and his score doesn't count. So it was pointless anyway. So actually, it did count. No, did it? I think it did count because Bont didn't play, and we didn't have cover for that. So yeah, we got a 30 from him. Brilliant work, McKenna. Yeah, nothing happy with 30. And then Miller, 55, is also just an icing on the cake. Cherry on top after a massive score, a 157 peak score. You're like, damn, this is why we brought him in. He brings out a 55, which is one of the lowest scores for the year. So that is that. Pretty much everything that could have gone bad went bad this week. We had 3 performers that were Ash, Heaney, and Gorn, actually, and Brady Hill. So 4 performers out of everyone. Everyone else was at least average or below. Maybe you can stick Matt Rowell in there as a decent score, but yeah, it's really tough, hey, this time of the year when you've got 0 trades left. I've never been in this position where I've had no trades left, but all the forced changes throughout the year has really taken a toll on that trade front. Maybe in hindsight, trading for Bailey Smith was not the play, and I could have just had a warm body in someone. I don't remember who we traded, but it was definitely someone that had to be moved on money-wise. So maybe it would have been worth just holding on to them and saving the trades for sideway injuries, because it would be Nass. I probably would have traded Bont and Pelly. And I forgot to say that Durham was also out injured as well. So another change I could have made is, instead of bringing in Durham, who's had a decent run, I could have brought in Rankin, who was, I think, same price, but has averaged 150 since the last 5 rounds. So yeah, it is, some things work out, some things don't, but you learn every year, hey? And the season rank is not dreadful. It could be way worse than what it is. So all in all, decent. We've got 1 round to go. We need to absolutely punch out a massive score, and that starts with our captain options, which we'll go into right now. The week itself is going to be the most anticipated team list in a long time. Sydney, people resting. There's a lot of things to keep an eye on. But we'll go through our captain options. So first game is on the Thursday, St Kilda versus Gold Coast. Matt Rowell's recent come to form has been pretty good, so I think he might have a little bit of attention put into him. It's either that or Anderson, even though Anderson's had a kind of a slop period as well. I don't think Rowell gets attention put into him just because the nature of his touches is kind of like Kalari, where he accumulates, but he doesn't impact very heavily. So I'm not looking to go anyone from this matchup. Collingwood versus Brisbane, I'm also looking to not go there either. The day cost doesn't even, it doesn't go here at all. Carlton versus Freo, I'm also not looking to go anywhere. Melbourne versus Bulldogs at the MCG in the afternoon. I mean, you could go Gorney. Think Timmy English is on injury watch. I don't know if he's back this week, but I think Gorn could feast at the MCG in the afternoon. He usually does. So I think that is an early vice captain option. And then right after that, it is a squeeze, but we could go Bailey Smith as the backup captain. I'm expecting Gorn to pump out a big one, just take that vice. But as a backup, we could go with a Bailey Smith captain. It's a squeeze for sure, because the game finishes about 30 minutes before the matchup at GMHBA. So I'll keep an eye on that one. Then Crows versus the Giants. Not looking from anyone from there. Essendon versus Port. crazy that Port are favourites. I haven't seen that in a long time, but naturally Essendon are where they are. That's fair enough. I don't like anyone from there. 11:50 as a starting time's crazy as well. And Sydney versus North, keep an eye on that, but maybe Sydney, Goulden, maybe Heaney could be an option. But I'm sure Heaney's going to get some attention put into him by O'Sullivan, so maybe not. Don't like anyone from there. And the West Coast versus Hawthorn. Hawthorn have had a pretty good run home recently as well, but I don't think they have any really captainable, safe options, so I'm not looking to go anyone from there either. So I think, personally, my two options for this week is going to be a Gawn moving into Smith. Just got to keep an eye on it on the weekend at that time, set an alarm or something. But that's where we're rolling. I'm hoping that Durham comes back in this week. I've left Bont in there because surely he comes back in. And that's what we go with this week. We've got Hugo on the field over Anard because they both played basically the same time. So I'm just going to lock in Hugo that he has a bigger score. So that is pretty much the season done. We've got a final wrap up and review. It will be my last video on Supercoach Classic for the year. But that doesn't mean that the channel or the year's content is going to be up regarding Supercoach, because we do have finals, AFL finals. The matchup is working in a way where you have no value. You've got unlimited trades. I don't think it's unlimited trades, but you can use your money on anyone. You can bring in anyone. So right now, this is my early team. Of course, it's going to subject to change, but I'm looking at players that are going to go far in the finals, in my personal opinion. So we've got Dacos. Bowie's been pretty decent at the back end of the year. Probably subject to change, that one. Ashcroft's been great. Smith, potentially. Newcomb, I think that Hawthorn go pretty deep in finals, so maybe Newcomb. Jackson's probably my lock-in ruck, and I think it should be everyone's lock-in ruck. Potentially a Max Gawn. And yeah, you look at the own players. We got Dacos not on the team. Goulden, that is in forward status. He's pretty much a must-have in my opinion. Max Hole is definitely going to be a pod pick if I do choose to go with him, but Saints are not in the finals anyway, so I will be changing that, of course. And then Heaney in the flex, so definitely subject to change. Hole's not even playing, so a few mix and matching here, but that pretty much just means that I am going to continue on with the content into finals. I'm not sure what the finals structure looks like, or if they count wildcard. I'll have to do some research, but we are going to continue the content. I was even thinking if I wanted to make this video because of how disappointed I was in the results. I thought you could put on your big pants, buddy. You film that video and you hopefully go back up next week into at least the top 3K. Top 3K, I will consider the season a success. Even though we wanted that top 500 at the start of the season, anything below 5K, top 5K, it's going to be really disappointed that it all crumbled this late. So yeah, depressing week, but it's all up from here, hopefully, and we can end the season on a really high. So thanks for hanging out, as usual. Trying to get my thoughts on each individual player when I'm busy is not easy. I don't watch every game, of course. So yeah, I'm trying my best. It is what it is. Thanks for hanging out, as usual, and I'll see you probably in our last potential video for this season next week in our final review for round 24. Peace out, you lot.